I bought my first house whenever I was a senior in high school and rented it out right away.
Did they ever freak out that a little teenager owned the house they lived in?
Oh, yeah.
How much did you put down?
$5,000.
How many houses you got now?
400 plus units.
Billionaire told me once the trick is to never sell.
I'll go to the closing table and I'll walk away with a property and a check. The biggest deals that I did, it had $1 million in equity, and I had essentially no money in it.
Should anyone ever pay cash for a house?
No, you should always get a loan.
See, Dave Ramsey will say you're full of shit.
Right, yeah.
Why wouldn't I pay it in cash?
Well, because...
What happens when interest rates drop here soon? You think the biggest mistake new investors make?
I think...
What it is, Brad Lee back again with another episode of Dropping Bombs today in the studio, folks. I got a real treat for you, especially if you like making money. My man, Larry Carpenter III up in this biscuit. What's up, Larry?
How's it going? Glad to be here.
It's going. Not as good as you, though.
Yeah, right.
Dude, if you guys don't know this dude, you can find him on Instagram, social media, but Instagram at Carpenter Real Estate. When I first saw this, I'm thinking, great, another realtor. Like, I think I've talked enough about real estate and that I'm good. But when I started reading your story, I'm like, wait a minute, this guy is a little bit different than the average realtor. Most people think you're a realtor means you sell real estate.
Right.
And you're more of a real estate investor, entrepreneur, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would say so. Most of what we do is investing and, rehabbing properties, doing rental properties, and then also doing some development.
Now, when you were a kid, your dad's running around doing all kinds of jobs. So he taught you kind of the
Yes.
work ethic.
Yeah. When I was growing up, my dad, he worked all kinds of jobs. He had an early morning paper route, full-time gig, and then he'd have a couple part-time jobs in the evenings. So he was always working. Taught me early on to, be a hard worker and get out there and make things happen.
Why did he work so many jobs? Does he have a bunch of kids?
Yeah, it was just, no, not really. It was just me and my sister and then my mother. My mom, she didn't work, so my dad had to, pay for all the bills.
Well, it's a good thing you had a dad that's willing to work.
Yes, absolutely.
So you watched your dad bust his ass and, make ends meet. Meanwhile, something sparked in you because you say when you were in high school and most kids were going to the prom, you were buying your first rental property.
Yes. So, growing up, I had friends that, their families had a little bit more money than we did. Nice big homes, beautiful cars. And that just kind of sparked something in me like, I want those things. And I knew that hard work alone wasn't going to get it there. My dad, he worked hard all his life.
See, mine too. See, where's my button? That's a bomb, folks. Pay attention. Hard work is not going to get you there. That's what I keep trying to tell people.
Yes.
Hard work alone, bro, is going to get you tired.
Oh, yeah.
Won't get
Absolutely.
you rich necessarily.
No.
Okay, keep going.
So, learning that hard work wasn't all that there was, started getting into, I had this career day in school where you go and you follow somebody. So I went with this landlord contractor. Took me around to his job sites and passed a few of his properties and was like, "Hey, this is, what we do." And he had toys and nice houses and, just a lot of stuff. And I was like, I was intrigued, So at that point I was hooked. I was ready. So that's whenever I bought my first house whenever I was a senior in high school and rented it out right away.
See, like most seniors aren't doing that.
No. My friends were like, "What are you doing?" They didn't get it.
So how much did you pay for your first house?
It was $48,000.
See, that's another thing that you can't find very much these
you can't
days.
find out
How old are you?
37, just turned 37.
Well, that wasn't that long ago.
No.
Where'd you
18.
live?
I lived at the time as Huntingburg, Indiana.
Did you buy in that town?
Yes. Yeah.
So something that you could put your hands on?
Oh, yeah. That's what I liked about it. You can put your hands on it. I was in building trades in high school, so, I learned a little bit about some handyman stuff to be able to do some easy fixes myself and things like that. So,
how'd you finance it?
Financed it through the bank with the seller. I knew the seller really well, so we was able to do a little bit of seller financing, and then part bank financing.
And you saved a little dough.
Saved a little dough.
How much did you put down?
I think it was like $5,000 I saved over the summer.
What were you doing to make 5 G's?
Worked in the factory just all summer to save up the money.
Did you have the intention of buying a house?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So how come
I was working on building up my credit and everything to get to that point.
How come your dad didn't discover real estate?
He was just into, he was working hard every day. Just focused on, putting in the time to get the money.
Is he still alive?
Yep. Yeah, he's still alive.
Does he work with you now?
He does some.
But he's not still busting his ass, is he?
No, not like he used to. No,
I was going to say, like, Dad, you got to pay attention.
Yeah, he really enjoys the job he's in now. But, I always tell him, like, hey, when you're ready to give that up, come work for Carpenter Enterprises. We got plenty of places for you.
Yeah, I mean, especially, he's a hard worker.
Oh, yeah.
But usually, like, the dad shows the son the way in. You seem to have found it because you went out on some career day.
Yeah.
And so you're like, dude, I want to do this. So you save up your money, you buy your first house, and you rent it out right away. Did you get you couldn't have been an FHA loan?
No, it was just a straight conventional loan.
Because you're supposed to live in it, aren't you?
Right. Yeah. So it was a conventional loan in my personal name at the time. Now I've got it, everything's in business names, but at the time the first one was in my personal name, and then I rented it out right away. It actually had a tenant in it already. So I was able to keep it on.
Did you have to fix toilets and do all the crap that,
oh yeah,
you would think a landlord's supposed to do?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Clogged toilets, you name it.
Would you do it yourself?
Yeah. In the beginning.
Did they ever freak out that a little teenager owned the house they lived in?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It was a little strange, especially in the beginning, 18, 19 years old, going around collecting rent money. And
did you ever have a problem collecting?
Oh yeah. Yep.
What would you do?
Well, if you can't get the money, you have to file an eviction with the courts, and then you go to eviction court, it's you, 18-year-old, and, a 40-year-old or whatever at the court hearing. And, you have to talk it out a little bit, and then they basically give them a day to be out. And if they're not out by that day, you have to get the sheriff, and they get involved and all that.
Have you ever had to do that?
A couple times. Yes.
Is that the downside of it?
Yes. I mean, I think that's probably one of the downsides of it. We're lucky, with our eviction rate, we're probably at about 1% to 2% a month.
That's not bad.
Which is not too bad. So we're happy with that.
Yeah. So you bought your first house, you rented it out, and then what? You caught the bug? You were hooked, or what? How much cash flow was that house making you?
It was a couple $100 a month. At the time it felt great. A couple $100 a month. 18 years old.
For free.
Yeah, essentially for free. And then, the first thing that went wrong was the AC went out. And it was a motor. The motor and the AC went out. We had to put one of those in, and it was costly to get that put in. So I was like, well, I know what I want to go for. I want to go for HVAC. So I started going to college for heating and air conditioning. At that point, I realized I don't want to be in crawl spaces, and I don't like being on top of roofs. So this is probably not the career path that I want to go. So kind of got out of college a little bit, started working back in the factories, just to kind of fill out what I want to do. And then I decided, I was like, I kind of want to go to school for business. That's really what I want to do.
So you weren't thinking real estate from day one?
No, I mean, I think real estate was one of those things where I was going to do it, but I also knew that I had to have another source of income coming in until I was able to build up a portfolio big enough to, supply my lifestyle or whatever.
So who was your mentor? Like, did you just read books? Like, how would you know to go do all this yourself?
Oh yeah. A lot of podcasts, watching stuff on YouTube. YouTube is like my number one teacher. I just follow a lot of people that have done what I want to do, and just learn from them and start building more and more.
And $200 a month isn't making you rich. So,
no.
So you went out, got another side job. What was your next house?
Yeah. So the next place I purchased was a fourplex, and the fourplex started cash flowing a lot better. I started to see the value in multi-units and things like that. So That's whenever I started to realize, if you can get into more multi-units, whether it's apartment complexes and stuff like that, you're going to make more cash flow. And so early on, cash flow was like my number one target. I was like, all right, what properties can I buy that's going to net me more money every month? So,
were you living in a house you owned at this time, or
at this time? No, I was actually bouncing around, going to college and living at my grandparents' house, stuff like that, just to kind of.
Did it feel weird owning properties but not having a home?
Yeah. It was a little strange.
Because most people would just live there.
Right. Yeah.
Which if you did that, you might have killed your whole future.
Right. Could have been stuck.
Well, it becomes a liability when you live there.
Right.
Comes an asset when you rent it.
Yeah.
That's what more people also need to understand. A lot of people buy these nice homes and they live in them because they're nice.
Right.
Of course, 48,000. It probably wasn't a killer home, was it?
No, it wasn't.
Was it a shitter?
Yeah.
Did you have to fix it up?
Yes. Yeah. Over the years, we've had to fix it up. I actually still own my first house that I had purchased. And I don't know how many times we've had to clean it out, repaint it, and put new floors in and windows and all that kind of stuff. But
well, so a billionaire told me once the trick is to never sell. Do you have that same philosophy?
Yes. Yeah. I try to hold on to everything. We do a lot of fix and flips, to where, we'll sell them if they sell. If they don't sell, then we'll rent them out. And sometimes, that's, in the long term, that's probably the better scenario. But
I was going to say, because everyone that flips properties, I always wonder, like, why would you flip it if it's worth more? Why wouldn't you keep it, rent it out, take the tax revenue or the tax savings?
Yeah. Because, then your tenant's paying it down or whatever, and you can always borrow against it to invest in other deals.
So why do people flip homes?
It's for flipping, you can make good money, quick money. But once you sell it, it's done.
It's done. It's over.
So, I think a lot of people, they flip in the beginning, they flip to get some money saved up, and then they start maybe investing some of it into, long-term hold properties or whatever.
Why do you think realtors, the kind that just, list and sell homes, why don't you think they do it enough to get some money and become investors? Because the investors is who's getting rich.
Right.
I never see realtors get rich. I only see investors get rich. And they may have a realtor's license. Like, you're a licensed realtor, I assume.
Yes, correct.
And why'd you get the license? You don't need one to invest.
No, I got the license because I had a lot of my friends, as it got a little bit older, they started asking, could you show me what you're doing? In the beginning, they were like, you're crazy. What are you doing? And then whenever they started seeing that it was working for me, they started getting intrigued, and they wanted to know what they could do to possibly get into it or whatever. So I was already in sales, and I was like, I'll just get my realtor license so I could help them out and get paid a little bit by selling them deals or whatever. So that's kind of what got me started into being a realtor.
So you're always been kind of a hustler.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So now you still have that first home?
Yes. Yeah.
Would you sell it to me for 48,000?
No.
What's it worth today?
Today, that house is probably worth around 100,000, I would say.
If I wanted to buy it for 100,000, would you sell it?
Maybe.
What's the time you sell versus hold? Because again, the billionaire told me never sell.
Right.
So why do people sell?
So I think the time to sell is whenever the market on the sale is better than the rents you can collect. So say, for instance, we'll use a $100,000 house, for example. If you're only getting $800 a month in rent, the better choice is to sell at $100,000, especially if you use like the 1% rule. So
what's that?
If you buy a property at $100,000, you want it to at least get $1,000 a month in rent for it to cash flow and to make money. If you're only collecting $800 a month and you can sell it for $100,000, the better choice would be to sell.
Is that every time?
Not every time, because there's other things that come into play, but that's a good starting point to look at.
So how many houses you got now?
400 plus units. but it's a mixture of apartment complexes, trailer parks, duplexes, quadplexes, single family
Let's
homes.
call them doors.
Doors. Yes. Doors.
So you have like 400 doors already?
Yeah. Yeah. We're 400 doors.
Now, do you have a big team or is it just you?
Yeah. Yeah. We've got a team of office gals that work in the office that handle all the, the tenant stuff, signing leases, when they come in and pay their rent or, if they have complaints, whether something's broke down or whatever. Then we have a team of maintenance guys that takes care of all our maintenance, and a team of construction guys that are working on our new stuff, whether it's a rehab or new builds.
Are you looking every day for these properties?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, every day. But I also got to the point where I built a name in my area that people will reach out and say, hey, I've got this property that, whether it be a family member that had passed away or whatever, that they'll reach out to me and see if I'd want to purchase it or invest in it. So I can get a lot of deals just from people calling in. And
that's what you would refer to as an off market.
Yes.
Because they haven't listed it yet.
Yeah. Off market deals and kind of like referrals, they're just people referring them to Carpenter. And, if it doesn't work for us, then we have clients that are looking for deals like that, or we'll put it on the market for them through the MLS.
Could you find me a deal somewhere?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's deals everywhere.
The kind where I put $5,000 down.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
We can find deals that you don't have to put any money down.
I'll take 20 of those. Now, is it possible for a guy like me, not in the town, to say, hey, Larry, I've got a couple $100,000, like deploy it for me and get me however many properties I can get for that, creative or otherwise,
right,
and make money without ever looking at the property?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So how come everyone and their dog doesn't get into it?
I think it's just the mindset. I think you have to have the right mindset too, whenever it comes to investing into real estate and things like that. So even from like a lower end or higher end property, you have other people living in your properties and you have to be comfortable with them going in there and not treating it the same as you would. And
if it's a shitter, who cares?
Right. Yeah. And that's where you can get a lot of cash flow with those, but then you have a lot more headaches, a lot more phone calls. So, you start dealing with, just the law enforcement and things like that too.
What do you mean?
On the lower end rentals, you're going to deal with a lot more headaches for sure, whether it be maintenance on the properties or, just the people in general. Sometimes you'll have.
As a renter, are you forced to do certain things that like you have to? It's not an option. Like a toilet. Because if you were renting my house and you called me, I'd say, Larry, you're a fucking grown man, dude. Fix the toilet. Like you calling me for a toilet that you broke? Fix the toilet.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So like, we have some properties that are Section 8. So that's government comes in and pays for partial or all of their rent. So like if
that check shows up on time though,
that check shows up on time, it gets, I think all of ours goes directly into our accounts and we don't even have to mess with it. The only thing with that is your tenant could reach out to them and say, hey, our toilet's clogged up or our refrigerator went out, we have to get onto those pretty quickly or else, they could say, hey, we're going to drop this tenant. Drop
the what? What do you mean?
Drop the tenant from them paying for their rent, because you have to set I guess there's a standard that they want that if something goes wrong. Then why would
they call?
Right. So it makes you wonder why the tenant would call them instead of calling us first, to make sure we can take care of it.
Why do you think that is?
I think that once they get a sense that they know that Section 8 is going to be reaching out to the landlord, then maybe they can get it fixed faster.
Yeah, but it also might get them dropped.
Correct. Yeah.
Or do they just drop you?
Well, they'll drop the tenant. Potentially they could drop us, for that complex or something if they wanted to.
So I don't get it, dude. If I'm a Section 8 tenant and you're not fixing my toilet and I call Section 8, Section 8 would just say, screw it. We just won't pay your rent anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, they could.
Well, why is it my fault?
Right. Exactly. So, that's one of the standards, you'd have with Section 8. You just got to stay up on the maintenance of it. Well, even if like flooring. So like we had one unit where the flooring was all messed up, whether it be from, maybe their pets or whatever. If they come in once a year and do an inspection. So if they see that the flooring needs to be redone, they can require us to do it, even if it's the same tenant in there that destroyed the flooring. But it helps us keep up to date on our units though too. So there is a good side to it.
Huh. I was thinking about getting into Section 8 because of the guaranteed income.
Yeah.
And I was told by a Section 8 guy that, they take care of the house, because if they don't, you can call Section 8, and if they're destroying your house, they'll kick them off the program, which makes sense.
Right.
So like, that's why I was thinking about it. But if you're telling me they can destroy the floor and then Section 8 tells you to go replace it as often as they destroy it and there's no ramification to them.
Correct.
Well, how's that fair?
It's not.
Can you kick them out?
Well, you can, because they're destroying your property. Essentially, you could say, hey, this tenant's not working out. You can file an eviction based of that.
And then they bring in another one?
But then you can bring in another.
Who's the ideal Section 8 tenant? An older, elderly person that's just nice and
that'd probably be ideal, where they're not going to really mess up the property.
How many properties of yours get messed up monthly?
A lot.
Do you factor that in when you're setting budgets, et cetera?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like every time a unit comes open, whether they've destroyed it or not, we go in there and we do updates so we can collect more rent. And so we can keep the units, just nice. So,
but if I rent a house and you guys come do the floor, you're not going to charge me more rent because of it.
Like if you're still living there?
Yeah.
No.
It's when someone moves out.
Yeah.
Why don't you put in floors that can't be destroyed like those?
Yes. Yeah. We put in a lot of flooring that's like waterproof or life-proof flooring that essentially it takes a lot of wear before it starts to be destroyed.
Yeah, carpet wouldn't be a good idea in a rental.
We try to rip out all the carpet we can.
Yeah, because carpet, that just wears out no matter who's in there.
Oh, yeah. You'll most likely have to change it out between each tenant, with carpet.
How much more does that cost you in the NOI?
As far as like...
Is NOI the right word?
Yeah. That'd be like net operating income. So, like as far as having to change out carpet every time a tenant moves out, that's not real ideal because it only costs, I would say, probably 20% more to put in a better flooring that's going to last, 5 to 10 years rather than changing out every couple of years.
Because if I'm thinking, you know what, I'm going to buy this house for, let's be realistic. Nowadays, any house that is anything is going to be a couple $100,000. Oh yeah. Yes. So at least around here.
Oh yeah.
So, okay, I'll buy that house for $240,000. And then I go over there, I buy it, and then I rent it. And let's say the debt service on it's, and I'll make it end up $1,000, but I can get $1,500 for rent. So there's $500 a month cash flow. It's like, cool, man, this is cool. It's everything they said it would be. And then all of a sudden, a month later, AC went out. It's $12,000 to fix. I got to put that $12,000 into the house now.
Yes.
So now that $500 a month is going to take me 2 years to get my $12,000 back.
Yep.
So what's the benefit?
Well, the benefit with that is, so like if you go and do improvements, whether you're putting in new HVAC or, a new kitchen or whatever, the property is going to be more valuable. So
because it has a new AC?
Yeah. New AC, things like that.
Can't be much more valuable than the AC.
Yeah, it could be because that's something that an end buyer doesn't have to worry about forking out later. So
I'm not selling it though.
Right. So as far as an appraised value, they look at those things too, like the age of the HVAC and things.
Makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
Is there any such thing as a triple net residential lease?
You don't see that very often.
I'd like those.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I want to buy something where you're renting my shit and I get paid for it. And if anything breaks, fix it. And if anything's wrong, you deal with it. That's called triple net, right?
Right. Yeah.
That's what I want.
That'd be a lot of commercial properties.
So I'm looking for commercial.
Commercial. Yeah. Commercial would be something that'd be more up your
yeah, I was getting ready to lease this building in Nashville, and they have obviously air conditioning units. And so they basically instructed or explained to me that if those air conditioning units go out, I'd have to pay for them.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, do I get to take them when I leave? And they said no. And I said, well, then why would I put air conditioning units on your building?
Right.
And they said, that's just the way it is. So I said, well, then I'm not renting it. Why would I pay for your air conditioning units for your building?
Right.
It made no sense. So coincidentally, they called me back. They said, okay, we'll take care of that.
They'll put the new units in
if it needs it. It wasn't you owe it because it needs it. It was if you need it, if they go out,
then you have to replace it.
Yeah, you got to pay for them. And I'm like, why would I? First of all, tell me when's the last time they were replaced? Turns out they were replacing them about every 7 years. Mm-hmm. And the last time they replaced them was 6.5 years ago.
Yeah. So about 6 months from now, you're going to have to put a new unit.
Based on the history, which is what made me say, no, I'm not doing it. Thank God too, because they called me back and they said, okay, we'll take care of the air if it goes out. Because apparently they really wanted me to rent it.
Oh yeah.
And then I said, no, I need to think. And I went and looked at another building, and the other building was a Class A. Mm-hmm. Everything's included, including the maids, including cleaning, including everything. There was no, I'm not liable for anything. Is that a certain kind of rent that I'm not understanding? Why would one charge me for AC and the other one wouldn't?
Well, I would say that the other one, the class, I mean, you're probably going to be paying a lot more in your rent.
Wasn't much more, dude.
Really? Wow.
I was basically paying $3 a square foot in the first one, mm-hmm. and I'm paying like $3.40 in the second one. So 40 cents more.
Yeah. That's worth it for sure.
Yeah.
Because those rooftop units are, super expensive.
Yeah. And that's why I've never really got into real estate, because I don't understand that if I buy the property and something goes wrong, which it always seems to, mm-hmm. like the house I'm in now, as soon as I freaking buy it, now they want $14,000 for the sprinklers. I'm like, dude, the sprinklers worked all the way up until I bought it.
Yeah.
What's wrong with the sprinklers? Well, they need replaced. $14,000. Damn. What else went wrong? There was no water filtration in the whole house. I didn't know to look for these things. Nobody told me to look for these things. So then I had to put in a $15,000 water filtration system. Then I noticed that half the yard lights didn't work. Well, then I had to go replace the yard lights, another $8,000. And it's like, dude, what if I rented that house, all that would be the homeowner's problem.
Right. Yes.
So if they rented me the house, dude, they would have been getting whacked left and right. How are they ever making any money?
Well,
because there's not much money in a door to begin with.
Right. Exactly. So you're making a lot. You're making the money in the pay down, and the property is going to go up in value over time. So they're paying it down, and then the property goes up in value. And
the tax savings.
Yes. And the tax savings. So, whatever expenses you have, you can use it against your other income that's coming in.
And depreciation, right?
Depreciation. Yeah.
How much taxes do you pay?
A lot.
You're the only real estate guy I've ever talked to that pays a lot in taxes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aren't you aware that you're not supposed to be paying them?
I know. I was like, why am I paying this? What's going on here? I mean, you use more deductions or whatever, but yeah, we pay a lot in taxes every year.
Why don't you write it off?
We write off a lot of stuff, anything that I could write off.
Do you do cost segregation?
We have on a property. Yeah. One property we've done that.
Why don't you do them on all of them?
It's costly to do that, but I think in the long term, it would be beneficial to do it on all of them.
There's going to be real estate guys going, hey, I can help you with those taxes.
Yes.
Because from what I hear, most of the guys that I know that have considerable portfolios, one house is not going to keep you from paying taxes, but 400 should.
Right. Yes.
You're probably overpaying.
Yeah.
You're probably not taking advantage of certain things.
I definitely feel like I'm overpaying.
But you've been doing this quite a while, and you would be considered, like, in my opinion, a successful
real estate
investor. And you got gyms. What other businesses you got?
So we've got, we started doing the gym business.
Why the gym?
It kind of just fell into my lap. I was going to this same gym for probably about 12 years. Overheard that he was looking at selling it. He had somebody that was interested in buying it. So I just walked over to him one day and I was like, hey, if that falls apart, let me know. I'd be interested. I started thinking, a gym is pretty similar to the rental properties. They come in and use your equipment. Essentially they're renting your equipment and they pay you every month, So I was like, it kind of fits our same model that we're doing already. And I'd be interested in it. I kind of liked, the fitness industry and things like that. So, it was 2 days later, he comes up to me, hey, that fell apart. Are you interested? I was like, yeah. A week later, we were at the closing table and I was buying a gym. So
what'd you have to get for that?
About $1 million for the gym.
Out of your pocket?
No, creative financing. So we did, I did a portion of a down payment and then, he financed, I'd say it's probably 80% of it.
How do you know how to do the creative and tell people about that? Because I think a lot of people don't get into real estate when they should because they don't think they have the money to do it. So they just don't.
Right.
In reality, a lot of big players nowadays started out with just getting the owner to do some seller financing. They, they scrape together a little bit of money, less than they thought they'd need. Mm-hmm. And boom, now it starts. And then next thing you know, they're rocking. And now they're rolling around. I wouldn't say wealthy, but on their way to being wealthy.
Yeah.
What would you say to people about seller financing and creative financing?
That's what catapulted me into doing a lot more deals. We've done a lot of deals where I'll go to the closing table and I'll walk away with a property and a check. And that's a lot with like fix and flip and doing like the Burr method and stuff like that. But for example, one of the biggest deals that I did in early on, which kind of got me started to do even more and really pushed me to buy a lot more. I had a landlord, which was a tired landlord. He's getting ready to retire. He was looking to sell off a couple of his properties. And I kind of reached out to him and was like, hey, what about selling all of it? And so he started thinking about it and I met with him a couple of times and he said, you know what? I want to sell all of it. And I was like, okay, well, I don't have a whole lot of money to put down. This is like a $2 million deal to buy these properties. And he's like, well, let's look at doing some seller financing. So we created where he seller financed the whole deal and I had to pay for the closing costs. And after I bought that deal, it had $1 million in equity. And I had essentially no money in it. So why would he sell it then? He was just ready to retire.
See, guys, if there's anybody out there with one of those deals, I'll take it.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are the deals that really catapult you into being able to do more deals. So when you start building equity like that, then it's just.
Okay. So how do I find these deals? Coach me right now. I got money. I got credit.
Yeah.
My credit's gold balls. I got money. Mm-hmm. I don't have any issues. I just cannot seem to find a deal that makes sense.
Yeah. So what I do is like if I see places that say for rent, like if there's a for rent sign in the yard or something, and if it's in an area that I don't know who the owner would be, I'll reach out to them and just kind of fill them out, see what their thoughts are on selling. If they have more units, if they'd want to be selling the whole portfolio, things like that. You just got to really get your name out there that you're willing to do deals too. So once you start doing those deals, then word of mouth, you get other people that reach out to you and be like, hey, I'm looking to retire. I've got, say 20 units or 20 doors that I want to get rid of. I'm looking for somebody that's an investor to buy them. A lot of times when you buy them too, there may be, they're getting up there. They're ready to retire. They probably haven't been putting in the maintenance like they should have over the last maybe 5 to 10 years. So you may have to buy them and, do some force appreciation on them. But once you do that and you can get the rents up and everything, you could very easily build your equity up quickly on that.
Are you able to go over and look at a house and determine renovation costs and
Oh yeah. 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 We've done so many that, I can walk into a house and really get a good sense of what it's going to cost to get it up to, speed or whatever.
Yeah. I think a lot of people failed to take action and get in because of these things that have stopped me.
Yes.
Because like talking to you right now, I want to go get on the line and start looking. And every time I start to do it, I get pulled away with my business or now I got to go on a trip. So I've never really focused, but I've been threatening in the last 10 podcasts with real estate discussion that I need in, I want in. And then anybody listening, if you have a deal, hit me up. And then someone will hit me up with a deal. And then I'll be like, see, I don't know what to do. Like I need someone that knows what they're doing. Someone called me, my grandmother's getting rid of her mobile home park in like Bentonville, Arkansas or some shit. And I'm like, well, what does she want for it? 1.8. Like, is that a good deal? Am I getting rooked? Is grandma going to take me to the cleaners? I say, well, what's the cash flow? The cash flow was not a lot. I'm thinking, okay, what am I doing wrong in my thinking process? How do I underwrite the house or the property or the deal? Yeah.
So I think, just getting in connection with somebody that can underwrite a deal and talk to them. And that's where within Carpenter coaching, that's what we want to do, is be able to help people on that scale as well, as be able to underwrite deals and stuff for them.
So if I would have called you and said, Larry, I got this guy hit me up in the DM, because to me, I'm thinking I can use my social media reach and my reach of my podcast to get deals that are off market. Usually those are the best deals, right? Because once it hits the market, now you got a bunch of people fighting over it.
Right. You have a lot more people looking at it, fighting over it, putting in offers, and then the price just goes up and you start to, squeeze out that cash flow that's, you could have got from.
Yeah, but what stops me is I don't know the calculation to figure out that this deal pencils.
Right.
And if I'm thinking, what do they want on a down payment? If it's non-FHA or anything, it's like 20%, 30%.
Yeah.
Okay. So they want 360 grand down. I say, okay, there's 360. And now I'm getting, $9,000 a month. And I'm in my head, I'm like, shit, it's going to be forever to get my money back. 36 months. Is that a long time?
Yeah.
Because I want my money. I want my money back like in a year or less.
Yeah, and and I can see where whenever you start to think it like that, like a cash on cash return, based off of what money you put into a deal and what you're going to be, your NOI would be after your expenses and everything every month or every year.
But you're not going to know if the air conditioner is going to go out. You don't know if shit hits the fan and your plumbing's screwed and. Some dick poured concrete down your toilet and screwed up the whole plumbing system.
Right. Yes.
So again, how do you factor that in?
That's where you have to make sure it's cash flowing and it's making money every month, and that it has opportunity to appreciate in value over time, and that your debt is getting paid down by your tenants. So, that's a lot of.
Do you ever buy and sell businesses?
Yes. Yeah. So that's something too that, we were wanting to do a lot of acquisitions, potentially buying more businesses and, because a lot of the business stuff and within owning rental properties and running that like a business, you can use a lot of the same things to make sure that business becomes successful too, or stays successful and cash flows and makes
as long
money.
as it stays successful.
Right.
See, that's why I went from real estate now more into buying and selling businesses. Because if you do the math is better on a business.
It is. Yes.
So it's like, why is real estate? What happens when the interest rates drop here soon? Obviously, prices go up.
Are going to go up. Yeah.
That's good for an investor.
It is. Yeah. So then your properties that you already own, the values go up. And if the interest rates are down, it's a good time to do, say, a cash out refinance or an equity line of credit to be able to buy your next deal, to be able to add more to your portfolio.
So you're getting your pilot license just so you can fly around and do more deals?
Yes. Yeah.
Why do you need a license?
I think it's just a challenge. I like challenges. I like to try new things. So I started working on getting my pilot's license because I was like, for one, that's a new challenge and it's an adrenaline rush, to get up there in the sky and fly around. And so that was motivation. And then also the motivation of being able to get to places quickly, be able to expand out, So
are you local?
Yeah. Yeah. So we're pretty local. We're like within Southern Indiana. We have properties all throughout, but if we want to go out farther, we got to be able to get there quicker. So
would you advise people that are just getting started like me, would you advise me, hey, build it where you can touch it or buy it where you can touch it?
Yes. Yeah. Whenever you're first getting started, I would say the best thing to do would buy some in your area. So that way you can do drive-bys and you can see it.
What are you driving by to see?
Driving by to see if your tenants are treating the property with respect.
How would you know? You're not going in.
Up. Sometimes you do. Yeah. Sometimes we'll go in and do inspections and see how the properties are being treated on the inside. But like if it's local, you can drive by. You can get a pretty good understanding of what the inside's probably looking like based on their front porch or their front yard. If they've got toys scattered everywhere or just furniture, trash, you'll be able to get a good sense of it.
Well, let's say you do a inspection and you walk in and you see a hole in my wall where I punched the wall.
Yeah.
And then you see stain on the floor and you see maybe a chip off the granite countertop.
Yeah. So then
what would you do?
At that point, you just got to document it. And, they put a security deposit when they move in. Of course, that's probably going to eat up most of the security deposit. So, you just document that and give them warnings, hey, let's get this place cleaned up. We'll come back and do another inspection. Maybe they patch the wall or cleaned up the stain and stuff like that, and hopefully they clean the house up.
See, it sounds like a big pain in the ass.
Yeah, you want a team. You want a team to help you as you expand.
So you would recommend I would not get into it?
No, I would definitely recommend that you would get in real estate.
But I don't have a team.
You could build a team. You can build a team. So, you can't make money in real estate unless you buy real estate. So the sooner you can get into it, the better.
So with all those headaches, like I got no time now. Now I'm going to worry about somebody's toilet.
There's headaches, but there's also a lot of reward with it.
Let's talk about the reward.
So the reward within real estate would be, just the equity and the growth that you can build within it and the wealth. I mean, it's been tremendous and fantastic for myself and my family. That, without real estate, there's no way I could be where I am now. And the things that we were able to do, we couldn't do it without it. There's a lot of things that can go wrong as far as like if you have a tenant that's in there and they destroy the property. But whenever you can, it's a investment that you can touch and you can see and work with the public and work with people too. So it's rewarding to be able to supply housing for people and things like that too.
Now you said you learned from bad partnerships.
Yeah.
What did you learn?
Not all partnerships are great. Not everybody works like you would work or cares like you would care. So, I learned from.
So that's what you learned?
Yeah.
So is the lesson stay out of partnerships?
No, I don't think so. Cause, I'm still doing partnerships. Like I've just started an HVAC company with one of my lead HVAC guys within our company. And, with his partnership, he's got the knowledge within being able to either work on the equipment or train guys to, that we can bring in to work on equipment and stuff like that. And then I just kind of help with marketing the business and running the business so we can use our strengths to combine to build a pretty good company.
Did you ever get in a situation where financially you were about ready to throw in the towel and say, screw this, or has it always been rolling? Yes. Yeah. There's been many times that, I start to wonder, in the past, like, what am I doing? But once I stuck it out, got through the hurdles, I realized that was the best thing, is just to keep pushing forward. How long? Well, that's true in anything, I think, but how long do you think it'll be on a lesson curve, on a learning curve for a normal Joe like me, who's not real savvy in real estate, but he wants to be? Yeah. Is it a year, 5 years?
No, because I've had some clients come to me and they wanted to invest in real estate. And I worked with them, helped them buy some deals. And within 6 months, they were like, holy cow, I'm glad I did this, you know? And so then they're repeat clients. They come back, they want to buy more deals. And then, you know, I've helped out several that just got started, didn't know what they were doing, but they made very good money. And then they realized I'm making more money on doing these investments than I am in my full-time position. What, you know, he was in a sales position making good money, and he was making far more just by investing in a few real estate deals.
Which then gives you the freedom. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like, that's why I tell everybody, man, I if I were you, I would get into something just to get the freedom of working for yourself. You don't have to call someone and say, hey, can I take another week here in Cancun? Yes. We're having a good time. Absolutely. You just stay if that's what you want to do.
And I think that's where too, with like the real estate investing, is whenever you're building wealth like that, you can, you know, you have the freedom to do that. And you also have the freedom to not worry about like the cost of it, you know, where do you start building some wealth?
What do you think the biggest mistake new investors make?
I think the biggest mistake maybe new investors make is maybe putting too much investment or too much care into like a 1 or 2 properties, that it takes them a long time to either recapture that investment, or they just completely lose their mind whenever they have a tenant that's not a great tenant in their property. You kind of have to not take it personal, you know, and treat it like it's just real estate, you know.
So where do you think, you know, Carpenter Realty is headed? Are you building a family business? Or are you setting it up to sell? Or what are you going to do with all this?
Yeah, my goal is to, you know, hopefully my family, one of my daughters, right now she works in the business, and, you know, she's excellent. She manages all the properties, and she also manages the office. So having family getting involved in the business has been rewarding, and it's exciting. My son, he's 13. I'm not sure where his mind is. I hope that he says, hey, Dad, whenever he gets older, he's ready to go and keep pushing the dream and keep growing the business. But that's the goal, is to just keep growing it.
Don't you think you have to keep buying it and growing it for it to be a business? Because otherwise it's not really a business. It's more of a asset.
Right. Yeah.
Because if I own 5 houses and I don't do shit after that, like, is that a business?
Yeah, it's a business, you know, maybe a small business.
How's it a business?
Well, you're creating cash flow and income. So
well, in that sense, maybe, but like, it's not really a business. A business to me is like, you show up every day, you're doing work every day, you're grinding every day.
Yeah.
You're building the business. But if you just have 10 houses and you call that a business, it's like, what are you doing every day? Well, nothing. Because I mean, like, hopefully nothing breaks for months at a time. It's not like something's constantly breaking. Mm-hmm. So like, what's there to do every day if you just own a bunch of houses?
Right.
Drive by them.
Yeah.
Do an inspection. Like, you're making yourself busy. Yeah. Can't you just own the shit?
Yeah. Right.
Because that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for more to do, Larry. I'm looking for less to do.
Yes. So absolutely. I mean, you could buy real estate and you can have, like our company, we'll property manage for other people as well.
You got a property management too?
Yes. Yeah.
I know another guy, I think he sold his property management company for $300 million.
Wow.
He had a huge real estate portfolio.
It had to be a lot.
Built his own property management company. And when they came in, he didn't have to sell all the property. He literally sold the management company.
Just the management company alone was $300 million.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Like, your management company could end up being worth hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah. That's a crazy thought.
What's your goal?
What's my goal?
What's the dream?
Yachts with helicopter pads, and jets, you know. That's one thing too, like within real estate investing. And as I grew, you know, you run into a lot of like, when are you going to be satisfied, or when's enough's enough? And, for me, it's, I want to keep expanding to, you know, to be able to do the amazing things in life. You know, I like the nice things, but I want the amazing things in life.
What would be the ideal scenario for you and your family?
I would say being able to grow a business that, can be passed down from generation to generation, whether it be owning assets or, businesses that are assets, and then being able to travel the world, see amazing things, whether it be within the business
you
or
can do that now.
Whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
So what's stopping you?
I don't know. Work. Pretty busy.
I know, but dude, you're a young man.
Yes.
So I'm trying to give you some insight. Too many times you see people like yourself busting their ass for this someday I'll be able to travel the world, when in reality, you could do that shit now.
Yeah.
And what if someday never comes? Like, why is it you have to do this before you do that? You can already do it. Why are you waiting for some magical day?
Yeah. And I think that's, a lot of the reason for doing the carpenter coaching and trying to grow that, so that I could do a lot of traveling.
That's just more work though, bro.
Yeah. But it gives me a good reason to go and travel too. I know,
but like, dude, because of my software, I deal with a lot of coaches and experts and trainers, and dude, that's some work. That is not less to do. That is more to do.
More to do. Yes.
So what he's talking about, guys, is carpenter coaching is like, hey, if you got nothing, or you're already, planning on getting in, this dude's putting together a whole coaching program with, on-demand interactive training, as well as group coaching, one-on-one mentorship, deal flow. That'll turn into investment funds. But basically, how do you get into the program? carpentercoachinggroup.com.
Yes.
You'll have to where you will show anybody how to just get in and start and get it going and get it done to put themselves in the same situation you're currently in.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's more work, bro.
Yes.
To tell you, you're stacking it on. Are you ever like not home? Are you going to regret this someday?
So I do work a lot. But I do have my family. They do come and, work with me and, come to the office or whatever. And I do go home every night, which is nice. It may be later most nights, but, yeah.
Well, again, I mean, I don't know what your goals are, but here's what I recommend people do, being my ripe old age, which I'm way older than you. And I wish someone would have told me this back when I was your age. Probably wouldn't have stopped me. I probably would have kept working anyway. But the thought was, imagine if you and her sat down and planned out, what is the goal? What is the dream life here? And you ultimately start just dreaming, basically. It'd be nice to travel the world and do this and do that and do this and do that. And then you can reverse engineer. What does that require? Well, we're going to need, if we did, this many trips and this type of budget on each trip, we're going to need this much money. Well, then at least where you got to get to. And the day you get there, you crack a bottle of champagne and you start living.
Yeah.
And you stop working. Because it sounds like you're a work-a-damn-holic.
Oh, I am.
And you're stacking on more shit to do.
Yes.
Well, dude, when's life going to start taking precedent?
I mean, it does. I do make time to do different things,
a little here and there. I bet you if we had her on there, we'd hear a different story.
Yeah. Yeah. I do like to work, but I'm also one of those guys. It's hard for me to relax and chill. My brain's constantly moving.
Do you think you have scarcity mindset from being a kid?
I think that there's probably some of that there, where it's like, if I'm sitting there relaxing, I'm like, okay, well, couldn't I be doing something that could have benefited more than just sitting here, So
I know, but that's my point. Like, what's the purpose? What's the goal? Yeah. So like mine, for example, I want the jets. I want this. Well, it takes a certain amount of money.
Right.
So I'm not there yet because I've been pissing away money. I make great money, but I piss it away. Well, that's why I'm like, okay, I got to start getting into real estate. I got to start getting some assets in my portfolio that will pay me that kind of money, even if I don't do anything.
Right.
Well, once I get to this level, now that I'm older and I'm in a rush now, it's like, I'm done. Why? I still like to work. I still want more, but I don't need any more.
Right.
Why? Because the dream life is here. And if I could just stop today and start living that dream life,
yeah,
why would I keep going? And so you have to ask yourself that.
It's kind of an addiction. You know?
I know, but dude, addiction's not good in any way.
It's true. It's true.
So dude, just start thinking about it, because you're young enough to where you might like save yourself 15 years by going, you know what? He made a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. But most people, they don't stop, figure out what is the dream? What is the purpose? Well, I want to be able to take jets and travel with my family, because people said that before. And I go, well, you can do that now. They're like, well, yeah, but I don't know. And they just keep working and working and working and working. And then all of a sudden they become 55. Their kids are grown. It's not the same. Your goals changed. You don't really want that. And quite frankly, you've been doing it for the last 5-10 years, but you're prioritizing the work because it's just a habit. And it just, next thing you know, dude, you're an old man, and you're regretting that you didn't do it smarter.
Right.
And the smart way, because I'm getting to be an old man, and the smartest way that I'm thinking now, which I didn't think before, is map out exactly what that dream looks like, and then get there as fast as you can. Then bust your ass, keep working, keep doing what you're doing, but you know where you're going. Because right now, I don't think you know where you're going. You just want to be rich and have it all. Dude, you probably have is more than you think right now.
Yeah.
But you're still working. You're still doing it. Bang, bang, bang. Dude, don't wake up 60 and be like, dude, where'd my life go? Because, you might be really wealthy. Mm-hmm. Bro, I guarantee you, when it's all said and done, the money is not going to be what you're after. Right. Because if I said you're done tomorrow, you're going to die tomorrow, what would you do?
I'd have a good rest of the day.
Would you go look would you go look for another flip?
No.
Would you be like, one more flip? I need one more flip.
Might be able to get it done today.
No, you'd be saying, hey, where's my kids? Where's my wife? Where's my family? I want to spend time with them. Right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
So why?
That's what you're doing it all for too, is to
exactly
for your family
and that lifestyle that you want to get to.
Right.
When in reality, most people, not saying just you, anybody, they don't really have a good idea of what that looks like and when they do it. Because at some point, dude, I'll bet you there's a lot of people that have worked 20 years past that point.
Oh, yeah.
And now they're rich, but their life's gone. And they just wasted 20 years of it grinding to get more, and they don't even need any more. And quite frankly, the more detailed you get with that dream life, you don't even want any more.
Yeah.
All you actually wanted was to be able to go fishing and hang out with your kids and freaking take some nice trips. And you're like, shit, I could have done that 10 years ago.
Right. Been in better health.
Yeah. Why was I so driven to just get to all this wealth when in reality, it's because you just thought, I want this, but get detailed, figure it out. And I'll bet you're closer than you think. Yeah. How far away do you think from that dream life do you think you are? 10 years, 20 years?
I'd say 10 years. 10 years, probably where I want to be.
Now, if you know what that is to where you can gauge 10 years, now the question is, can you do it in 5?
Oh, yeah.
Then why would you wait 10?
Right.
And if you can do it in 5, bro, can you do it in 3? Now you see what you're doing now? Yeah. Now you got a freaking serious focus. And dude, I'll bet you the next 3 years trying to fit in what you were going to do in 10.
Oh yeah.
Drives you like a beast.
Yeah.
And I'll bet you'll get 10 times more than you thought you would get in that 3 years. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You start thinking bigger, doing moves faster, speed is what wins a lot of times, just get stuff done,
Now, what happens if shit hits the fan and all your property's over leveraged and undervalued? What do you do?
Well, I'd say like what would happen if I would lose it all? I think
you can't anymore. You got too many.
Yeah.
You can't lose it all, could you?
No. I mean, there would have to be some catastrophic things happen for to lose it all. But I think that over time, the skills have been built enough to where if I were to lose it all,
Just do it again.
It would take half the time to build it back up. Yeah.
Now, you said at one point when you started this journey, you got a little sidetracked, started partying, started like losing focus. What was that about?
Yeah. I think it was going to college and then just started doing some, partying in college and things like that, and kind of just lost real focus on what I was doing. It took me a couple years. And then I've met my wife.
I hope that's her.
That's her.
Okay.
And she's a little older, 6 years older than me. So she was already kind of grounded. She had, 2 daughters. And whenever I got with her, she wasn't looking to go partying and things. And so it kind of got me more focused on getting back into work and really start dialing in what it is that I want to do. And
see, there's always a good woman behind every good man, isn't there?
There is. Yes. Wholeheartedly believe that.
So basically she just put a stop to all that shit. Yeah,
basically put a stop to that. And then I just started focusing back in on what I was, wanting to do in the beginning. I think that having support at home is huge.
For sure.
If you can have support at home, there's, you can do all kinds of things.
Yeah. Did you ever not have support at home?
I think it was before her and I got together. I was just a single guy and I was just out trying to find her probably, So I was going to parties and just wasn't real focused.
How'd you know it was her?
It was easy. She was beautiful. Caught my eye right away and,
She tamed you.
Oh yeah.
She put you in the stable.
Yes, absolutely.
Good. So listen, I appreciate you coming in. Bomb Squad, what can they do for you?
Bomb Squad?
That's the listeners.
The listeners, what they could do is check out Carpenter Coaching. And, if they're interested in getting into real estate investing, would love to have them come on and help them in any way. If they've got deals that they're looking at, they don't quite, can't really get the numbers to check, or they need some help, reach out. Love to help.
Just hit you in the DM.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
At Carpenter Coaching.
Yeah. Carpenter Coaching.
And then, what about investors? Like, what if there's people like, man, I like this dude's work ethic. I'll throw some money your way. Would you take some money too?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because that's the thing. Like, I know when I get into real estate, I'm going to end up putting together a fund, because if I'm out there doing it and you don't really want to do it, like right now, I don't really want to do it, but I want the benefit of doing it.
Yeah.
That's why I threw old Cardone a little bit of dough.
Oh yeah.
But again, that's not quite the same.
Right.
Because you're not in anything. It's his shit. Right. He's just throwing you a little check.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I want to get in to where it's my shit. My name's on the deed.
Yeah.
I'm in it like a GP.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I'll throw you some dough, but if there's listeners going, I like the dude's style, I want to invest with him.
Yes.
Okay, what kind of return you seeing on your own money?
Definitely. I mean, it really depends on any, the deal, of course, but we always have multiple deals that we're working on.
Yeah. But if the end of every year, it averages out, doesn't it?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would say like,
based on what would you offer if I threw you some money?
So if you say you want to just throw me some money to throw into deals, or would it be deals that you would own?
Well, I personally want to partner with you, but I want to be equal to you. Not like here. Like for example, when you get into the deal, you might end up literally after it's all said and done, making 28%, but you promised me 6 on my money. Well, that's me investing and getting a return. Yeah. I want to get a little farther into where it's almost like I found the deal with you. Yeah. I rehabbed it with you. I just don't want to have to do that.
Right. Yes. You want to be able to write the check and then get it invested into the deal, and then let the deal, grow in value or whatever.
Yeah. And then learn while I'm at it.
Yeah.
It's almost like a VIP coaching program.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So like there's deals like that, where if somebody came in and said, hey, I want to invest in something and I want to be a 50-50 partnership on an apartment complex or whatever, that's something that we would definitely entertain, because, you can't grow any bigger if you don't have other people in with it. You know, you're as big as the people that are with you.
Yeah. And then eventually all your funds are tapped. You can't just keep buying if you don't have the funds to buy, correct?
Right.
So that's why I would always tap into other people, because listen, if you got $100,000 laying around, it's better than me doing nothing. So I'll go find it. I'll build it. Yeah. I'll treat you better than an investor. Mm-hmm. Your name will be on the deed with me, you know, and at least now I got half of another deal, which if you didn't do that, I wouldn't have had that deal at all.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe that's how I get in. Maybe that's how you guys get in. So folks, the question is you got to get in where you fit in. If you're interested in real estate, the dude's been doing it since he was knee high to a grasshopper. He's got 400 units, tons of flips under his belt. And you seem like you know what the hell you're doing.
Oh yeah.
Carpenter Coaching. If you're an investor and you just want to throw some money his way. And again, by the way, I'm not vouching. Do your own damn due diligence. If you're an investor, like check him out. I'm just going off how I feel. Like I can see you know what you're doing. So if you're an investor, reach out. Maybe there's a deal there, and then maybe I'll throw a little something. And dude, if you can find me a $50,000 house. Last question. Let's say you called me and you said, because I mean, out in the middle of nowhere, there's houses like that still.
Oh yeah.
Not here in Vegas. Like I don't know of any, and if they are, I don't want to buy in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
If you called me and said, Brad, I got a $80,000 house. It's freaking nice. It doesn't need anything. We can rent it out. It's going to cash flow. It's beautiful. It's perfect. Mm-hmm. New air, new floors like that. Like, dude, this is a freaking gem. Why would you call me? Because I know you wouldn't. Nobody would. That's why I'm not in it. Because otherwise, shit, like why wouldn't you just do it? But if you're like, hey man, it'd just be fun to let him in on this deal, call me. But my question is, should I ever just pay cash? Because I always think, well, shit, if it ain't $1 billion, I'll just pay for the house. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't cash flow the same as if I put a little down and finance the rest, because the whole point is leverage the bank's money, not your own, correct?
Right.
Should anyone ever pay cash for a house?
No. You should always get a loan on it.
See, Dave Ramsey will say you're full of shit.
Right. Yeah. Well, there's a difference between bad debt and good debt. And the good debt is the asset that you're buying. That's, putting money in your pocket every month.
But tell them why they should never pay it. Because, dude, if you called me and said, dude, there's one here for 120, I'd be like, here's 120. You'd be like, no, dude, put $24,000 down. Let the bank pay the balance.
Right.
Why wouldn't I pay it in cash?
Well, because then you have that cash still for more deals. So you can do multiple deals with that money rather than just one deal. Yeah,
but you can't do a bunch with 120.
Yeah, you can do quite a bit. Because there's a lot of deals, that you can get into where you're financing. So say you find a property. So if you're looking at a property that's 50 or 80,000, it's probably gonna need a little bit of money, to fix it up. So you could go and get a loan for the purchase price and for the fix up costs. And then, so essentially you're buying a house, you go to closing, you get a check to fix it up. And then, you could get it rented, maybe worth a little bit more money, refinance it again, pull out a little bit more money, do the next deal. And you still kept 120 in your pocket.
See, find me some of those.
Yeah, I can do that.
All right. Folks, don't say I never brought you anybody that doesn't know what they're talking about. We call him Larry Carpenter, folks. Till next time, keep it real.